All right, so for this video, we're going to be looking at how to turn phrases or word problems into number expressions or number sentences. Here we're going to be working specifically with 1.4 practice A, and on 1.4 practice A, you're going to notice that on the left column, there are some phrases that have some different terms, and they also have some words that are keywords that tell us what we should do with our unknown. So our goal here is to match these phrases with their number sentences on the right. Now, the way that we can do this, the way that we can turn a phrase into a number sentence is that we can look for some keywords. These keywords are going to be hints at what we are doing with the terms in our expression. So let's go ahead and take a look for a moment at our keywords. So when we see keywords like added to or take away, multiplied, or divvied up, these are signs of what sort of operation we are doing in our problems. So let's take a moment to brainstorm some other ways we might hear added or take away or multiplied or divvied up in our problems. Let's start with added to. We might also see something like put together. We might also see something like all together. If we look at our sheet, we might even see and is a keyword, a number and another equal. And is sort of a sign that we're going to be adding something. Let's look back and see what else we might be. More than. Okay, these are all signs of addition. I bet you can come up with a lot more than I came up with. What about takeaway? Less than is a really, really common one in word problems. Fewer than is also really common. Subtracted from or taken from. Usually there's a lot of problems that talk about being bought. If something's bought from somebody, how much money do you have left? So we can look for leftover. These are usually signs of subtraction. Let's move over to multiplication. Multiplication, we can look for terms like per, like how many, if you mowed a lawn for 3 days and you made $15 per day, how much money did you make altogether? Per is a sign of multiplication. Of is a huge one, especially when we're finding portions problems. So for example, we might have 1/2 of the students ate cake. There were 24 students. How many didn't eat cake? So we could actually find that answer by multiplying 1/2 times 24. So of can mean a portions problem. It's a multiplication problem. By is another one. We usually see by in problems like dimensions. For example, there is a board that is 12 feet by 23 feet. What is its area? We can find the answer by multiplying the 12 by 23, 12 times 23. So by is usually a sign of multiplication in a problem. So our last keywords that we can look for are division, divvied up or split up, put into equal groups, sometimes maybe like equally distributed or equally given. Usually equally given tells us that we're divvying something up, equally distributed. Let's see what else we can see in here. Oh, quotient. That tells us that we're dividing. Going back to multiplication, we could look for product, the product. Addition, we might look for sum, the sum. Let's look back and see if there's any more we can come up with. Twice or 3 times. Yep. We're going back to multiplication. Times or twice a number. So these are just some of the phrases that we can look for. These are the key words that we can look for that will help us understand what sort of operation we're doing in our problem. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few of our phrases, and let's see if we can find the number sentence that goes along with it. Okay, so let's try number 3. 15 decreased by a number. So there's the word decreased by. Decreased by, if we look back at our, we didn't include this one. This one would actually go in subtraction, decreased by. So this one tells us that we are actually subtracting. So this one is 15 decreased by a number. Oops, excuse me. Get rid of all this stuff. 15 decreased by a number. We can symbolize that as x. So it would just be 15 take away x. Let's see if that's one of our options. Yes, A is our option. So number 3 would match with A. Let's look at another one. What about, this is a great one. 7 less than 15, okay? This is a really common mistake that students make. A lot of students will say, here's my 7, here's my 15, and then less than. So I'm gonna represent it like this. 7, and then they look for their keyword less than. Less than is a subtraction, so that means 7 take away 15. This is actually not correct. This is incorrect. Whenever we see the less than or fewer than, this is usually a sign that our operations are backwards. So 7 less than 15. In other words, if you have 15 and you have 7 less than that, how much do you have? Well, we could count backwards from 15, take away 7, and see what we have left over, okay? Or another way is we could basically flip this around and do it like this. 15 take away 7. These problems are particularly tricky because they're backwards. You have to flip these around. So whenever you see that fewer than or less than, that is a sign that you need to flip those around, all right? So let's go back and let's look for our 15 minus 7 and see if we can find it. 15 minus 7. Oops, sorry, this is one you're going to have to do on your own. So we'll know the answer. That one is 15 minus 7. Here's another one, a fewer than. This one is another one that you're going to have to be careful of. Does this mean 7 take away k, or does this mean k take away 7? I'll let you figure that one out on your own. All right, so these other ones you should be pretty good on. So good luck. Try your best.